Hey, welcome to the Echo Priestess podcast, episode 2. If you listened to my first episode, I channeled my ancestor Mary Dyer, who was a Quaker, who was hung in 1660, and that really blasted a lot of stuff open for me and did some ancestral healing. And I thought, you know what? While we're at it, why don't I just make this next episode about how ayahuasca changed my freaking life and also how it led to being a more diverse, creative human being and dealing with negative comments that kind of come in when you are a diverse, creative person and you're putting your content out there. There's 100% chance that people are going to ridicule that and put you down because, let's be real, people just don't like change. But that should not stop you. So, first, okay, if y'all know me and my journey and my story, you'll know that I used to be a very, very different human being. I used to tour full time as Molly Jean, one woman band. I was just all piss and vinegar. I mean, sweat and burning rubber, like, fuck you and fishnets. It was a lot of fun. I did it all through my 20s and early 30s, and if I was still doing it, I would be dead. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to candy coat this. I was a heavy drinker, heavy alcoholic, just living that rock and roll Janis Joplin lifestyle. And I wouldn't have it any other way, though. I went through a lot of shame and regret as I was trying to heal my body and my mind. Through yoga, I started to deepen my yoga practices and meditation because I lost my short-term memory just from years of sleep deprivation. And that's really what ultimately got me to quit. I mean, it was kind of it was like this thing that was building. Because I was dealing with the physical pain. I had blown my knees out from heavy foot drumming and just living in a van and eating shitty food on the road. I mean, people think, oh, you're living the dream. It's not exactly. But it had a lot of beautiful moments too. I loved seeing all the different cultures and music, and yeah, it gave me a lot of just life experience, but it really ultimately hardened me so much, feeling like I had to protect myself as a solo female artist and dealing with kind of a boy's world, a man's world. But anyways, so I went from all of that, and then I started to deepen my yoga practice. I was already did a training back in 2016, like a 200-hour program. Then in 2020, I did a 300-hour yoga program. And during this time, it was around this time that ayahuasca was coming into my life. And this is usually how mystical stuff works with me. It's I don't feel like I'm seeking it out, but it's here's something and here's something. And I was seeing all these documentaries about ayahuasca and people doing that, and I'm like, that seems wild. And so I was presented with this opportunity to take it in a really safe space. There was 2 really wonderful facilitators. There was a chef there that had prepared our diet the whole week before. You're not supposed to have salt or alcohol or caffeine or red meat. And I was like, oh my God. But when you're in a space where we're all in it together, it makes it a lot easier. So I highly recommend getting somebody that has a good reputation, because a lot of people out there do abuse it. I don't think that ayahuasca is something that people should be doing every single day. And I see some facilitators doing it every single day because they're working with people and it's just not good for your body, in my opinion, to do something like that every single day. I did it one time. I was integrating for a year, and I mean, I'm probably still am integrating, let's be real, but it's been 5 years since I've done it. So I would say I'd be ready to do it again, but it's, the real deal. So, okay, going into when I did ayahuasca and what happened. So as the medicine was kicking in, I and it wasn't even like I was seeing things or hallucinating. It was the feeling. And I was like, oh my God, are we starting with Soul Life 1? Because I was a cave woman and my daughter had gotten eaten by a bear, and her name was Ayesa, and I kept crying and saying Ayesa, and I remember speaking this language that had a lot of like it was like this guttural grief coming up. And I couldn't believe, as a mother, I let my child get eaten by a bear. And so I hear this voice that says, this is not your trauma to hold. You can let this go. So I purge, I let it go, and I look down and I'm like, I see the whole world, and I'm like, oh my God, I puked up my daughter. And then there's someone coming around taking the puke away, and I'm like, no, don't take away my daughter. And it's some of the shit they probably see, my God. So as I released that, there was something removed from my solar plexus. Hey, and I'm wearing yellow, that I didn't even know was there until it was gone. And it was like this dominoes effect of like things that needed to change in my life. And that was the turning point. When people look at my life and they say, wow, Molly Jean went through a lot of changes. She's a lot different from how she used to be. That was the turning point, like the major shift. And I called my drummer the next day. At that time, I had a project, Molly Jean and the Gasoline. It only lasted about a year. It was an awesome band. Yeah, it'll keep a girl money. Yeah, it'll keep a girl money. But I told her, I was like, look, I can't do this anymore. Like, I had to heal my body because I was literally killing myself. And so it was like this massive ego death, because like Molly Jean One Woman Band was like, at that time in my life, it was like what made me feel cool, right? Like people want to buy a t-shirt with your name on it and take a picture with you and have your autograph. You're like, wow, I feel special. And it's really dumb, actually. No, it's just what happened. But anyways, so letting go of that was really hard. I was like, oh man, like, and also what the fuck am I gonna do with my life? Like, you put on your resume, like, oh, I was a touring musician. I was a guitar tech for Reverend Peyton for a while. So many jobs were like, yeah, you're not fit for this. I got laughed out of job interviews. And so there was this period of just feeling really lost, but also honoring what was true for me and my authentic self. So then I went back to school for massage therapy. I became a massage therapist. And yeah, COVID hit. So I was like, fuck, what is anybody doing? And so I started to learn how to record music, and I put out an album called Heavily Meditated, which was like a yoga album. And I was so nervous to put this out because like it's not anything like my old music was, like heavy blues, Delta thrash, like, fuck you. And then I'm putting out this music that's like has ecstatic dance and like yoga nidras and just, mantras. And like, it's like totally different. And most people who had their eyes on me at that time, and maybe still today, I don't know, were into the Molly Jean One Woman band. So this is where this comes in. If you are a creative person and you build up a following doing some sort of art form, and then you decide to make a different kind of art form, there is 100% chance that people are going to tell you it sucks, okay? And it's hard, but you're just know that it's okay. You don't have to let that stop you. And I'm not going to lie, every time it happens, it stings a little bit for me, but ultimately it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, people want to put you in boxes. It's like when Bob Dylan went electric and literally people bought the tickets and came and just sat there and booed him. And he's like, what the fuck? I'm doing this anyways. I fucking love Bob Dylan because I think that was so courageous and brave for him at that time. And plus, in my opinion, his folk music and his electric music both rocked. But that's a good example. Of course, mine was on a way smaller level, but I still, was dealing with it. So, yeah, I would say just don't let that stop you. Like, if you're going through a change or a transformation in your life, just let it happen and ask yourself, what exactly is it that I want for my life? And chances are you actually already know, but you've been suppressing it and turning it down. I was doing that even with like telling people that I did ayahuasca or that I channel or all these things, because like I didn't want to be perceived as like some weird crazy person. But I'm like, tons of people do this, Molly, like it's fine. It's because I live in the Midwest, and like I live in Missouri, so people are like more conservative, here, which is fine. I don't care. That's where this is the point that I'm at now. It's like I literally don't give a fuck, and it's good because it's like, well, what if we all turned up what was real for us, what was authentic for us, and we didn't, dim our light, because we didn't want to draw too much attention. Or it's like a flower. A flower doesn't open and close depending on who walks by. It's just a flower. And I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to be a flower. And I'm just going to, So anyways, yeah. So now the music that I make, I still play the folk music. And that never really went away. But away, but the heavy, hard screaming, a lot of that came from pain and just being unhappy on the road, and then having like bad relationships, being an alcoholic. I mean, so my music has always reflected how I feel in the moment. And so I can't stay the same. I can't always make the same kind of music. Like, I don't know how musicians who are famous and have like, a hit for like 50, 60 years, like the Rolling Stones coming out like, nah, 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 nah. I mean, I would just be like, God, I'm so tired of playing this fucking song. But yeah, so anyways, just let yourself do what you want to do is the message in this podcast. And I I don't think there's anything else I wanted to say. I'll keep this one a little bit shorter. I've got a client coming in where she's got the Sacred Pastures package, Sacred Paws deal. We're doing massage and Reiki and sound healing. She's getting a sage bundle and a bath bomb. So she's getting a little mini retreat. So if there's any women in the area that are interested in my healing services that I have to offer, you can head on over to movewithmollyjean.com. I'm currently not working with men just because men can be inappropriate, unfortunately. So that is all I have for you all. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.